Welcome to the PaynePoints Podcast. We enjoy telling the stories of everyday people, whether that be small business owners, entrepreneurs, or people with a passion for their community. We want to highlight them and give them a platform to share their story. So grab your favorite beverage and join us on today's episode where we tell the story of someone just like you. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the PaynePoints Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Harbuck, and you'll notice that we're in, well, if you're watching this podcast, you'll notice that we're in a slightly different setup than normal.
Yeah, more artistic setup.
I'm borrowing the Megan Rowe in the Morning setup today, and Roe, our wonderful videographer, is joining us.
Awesome.
How's it going, Roe?
Feels good. Feels awesome.
Your name is Rogelio Olalde?
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Correct.
I butchered it real bad, probably.
You're
being nice.
Better than the teachers and coaches in high school. So
my 5 years of Spanish came in handy. So we have Roe on today because, well, Roe is a man of many talents. He does the videography and content creation for the company we work for, PaynePoints. Has his own podcast with Megan, and has some side hustles.
Yeah, hustles. Yeah, side hustles.
He's got multiple side hustles.
Yep.
This guy never stops working. He is a videographer for weddings and quinceañeras and life events of all kinds, and works for his dad, who has a lawn care business.
Right.
And has now taken up a new endeavor of laser engraving.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, we'll call it laser engraving.
So he's at the very cusp, at the very beginning of starting this particular business. And we thought it would be a good idea to have somebody on who's in the very beginnings. Because usually we've interviewed people who've been at this for several years.
Right.
And have been in the trenches. And so we want to talk to somebody who's really getting started in something from the ground up and go from there. So if anybody out there, because this is the time, maybe some of y'all have heard this phrase called the Great Resignation.
Right.
It's kind of the buzzword all over the internet right now, where people are leaving their jobs in mass amounts, more than ever before, and either starting their own businesses or doing other non-conventional things. And so we thought this would be a good opportunity to kind of take advantage of that and all the things that encapsulate that particular idea. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of starting a business, Ro, why don't you tell everybody a little about yourself? I know that the Megan Rowe in the Morning listeners might already know quite a bit about you, but the PaynePoint listeners might not. So
right. So Roe is short for Rogelio. I just changed it to Roe because it was easier for all the high school teachers and coaches and
all of us
else.
White people who can't speak
so I'm just
Spanish.
like just Roe. It just sounds cool. Roe.
Yeah.
And I'm a call myself like a blue collar. Always hustling, always working.
Yep.
Always changing my work schedule. So if I'm doing one thing, I gotta do another thing. So I'm always changing it up, learning a new skill set.
You're never really just
chilling.
No.
I have a chill vibe.
Yes.
But I'm never really chilling.
No. Every time I talk to you, it's like, well, I got to do this and this and this. And I'm like, you exhaust me just talking to you. I think that's good though, with someone so young, being so motivated. You got things going on. So you are a child in a large family.
Yes.
You've got several siblings, a couple brothers, a sister, 2 parents.
Yeah.
Lots of family, aunts and uncles.
Right.
Typical.
Yeah. The whole fam is, so everyone is either a hardworking or they've come from nothing and done something. So my dad crossed over here and now has his landscaping business of 20 years.
Yep.
One of my older brothers, he got here. He came here when he was 15 or 16 years old and now owns his own trucking business. It's a startup, but he's doing it on his own now. He has no boss. He's his own boss. My uncle is now the GM of a dealership. My other older brother, he is now learning he learned computer science. He said, you know what, that's not cool enough, I'm gonna learn accounting. So I'm like, man, dude, you're gonna fix computers and work on people's taxes,
Wow.
So every single family member is always doing something big, but started from nothing. They came from nothing. I'm at the lowest part of the trench, build my way up. And I'm like, I see that. I appreciate that. So that's where it comes from as well.
Well, yeah. Every time you've ever heard a story about anybody in your family, I'm just like amazed because there's just so many things that you guys have going on and have done over the years. Did you always live here in Texas, the Lufkin area?
Born and raised. Born in Nacogdoches.
So you are an authentic Lufkinite.
Yeah, born in Nacogdoches, raised in good old Lufkin.
Oh, goodness. And you went to school originally. You were in college for, what was your degree again?
I went for diesel mechanics. Well, no, it was like Ford degree or whatever, something like that. Basically, like Ford classes. Like Ford manufacturer, like learn specifically Ford brands, learn the software.
You worked for the dealership for a while.
I did.
Yeah.
I worked for 2 Nissan dealerships, so Infiniti and then Nissan, then worked at a Ford dealership. Started off changing oil, then worked my way up to working on diesel engines. And
he's also a bit of a car fanatic, aficionado, hobby car enthusiast.
Yep.
You do like modifications to your own car.
Oh yeah, the stuff that I learned in the dealership, I'll put it in place in my own car.
I mean, I've asked you a few car-related questions in the last couple of months. Hey, Ro, I'm having this problem with my car. Mm-hmm. What is that, maybe?
Yeah.
So good deal. What did you want to be when you grew up? Or any of the things you're doing now?
As a kid, I've always wanted to be something relating to history. So whether it be like a history teacher or like working at a museum, like involving history. Because I think history is so cool. Like this happened, it triggers, like it's hard to capture that where we are standing right now used to be something else 100 years ago.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And then 100 years later, we're here. And so I'm just like, that stuff is like, it's kind of weird. It's crazy to think about that time literally flies and like,
So your life could have been in academia.
Right.
And history, like buff type trivia.
What interests me the most was all of the history outside of the U.S. So whether it be like Spain, whether it be Roman, whether it be Greece or like something about Antarctica as well, like history outside of the U.S. is like,
I think world history was my favorite in school because it was, you grow up all through, elementary school learning about Texas history or United States history. So whenever you get to that point where you're learning about other cultures and other countries and how they formed, it's like, oh, there's a whole other world out there.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved the Indiana Jones movies growing up.
Right.
Where they're like faux archaeology, but really they're action adventure. Where you learn kind of these little tidbits. I mean, well, I say you learn it's fiction, but you kind of get interested in that world. Was there anything that triggered that for you, or was it just you really enjoyed history? Was there anything you saw or watched or read?
No, I still like to learn to this day. Like we'll go to a museum, like, oh, that's pretty cool to learn about, and how we went from this to that. But what made me not go into education was education itself. Like I want to learn about history, but I don't want to learn about math to learn history. Like, to me, it doesn't make sense. I'm just like, school is not for me. The learning is for everybody.
Right.
But the school system was like,
the structure of a school system.
Right, correct. Yes.
Because, you are a very curious person. I'll say that. And you're always interested in other, like all kinds of ideas and different things. But I would say school is not for everybody. Yeah. Glad you learned that before wasting a bunch of money.
That's why I'm glad I went to a trade school that specifically taught this and this only. Yeah. Which, ironically, in the trade school, I did learn some science and some math, which was even cooler.
Well, I mean,
like this guy,
it creeps into everyday life, unfortunately. So you gotta know the basics. Well, this new business that you're starting, this laser engraving, what prompted that? Because you've got so many irons in the fire already.
Yeah.
Why this one particularly?
So me and a couple friends, we went to Houston just to have a day in Houston.
Okay.
And we went to the graffiti park.
Yep.
And at the graffiti park, there was that time where people had like their little stands and like started selling their own products or whatever.
I think on the weekends they do that.
It was on a Saturday.
Saturdays, Sundays.
And we went, and there was this Hispanic guy. I think his name was @Woods on Instagram, and I bought 3 of his pieces. There was an Aztec calendar one. There was a Pickle Rick one from Rick and Morty, and another one with like the Day of the Dead kind of girl with a crown on her head.
Okay.
And it was like on a small like 3x3 piece of wood, And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And I started looking like, my stuff is really awesome. Like, how'd you do it? And he's like, and as I was buying, he was laser engraving other stuff. I was like, dude, this is pretty cool. How much? And he's like, it's only $5, man. I was like, there's no way. Like, there's no way this is $5. He's like, yeah. So I was like, all right, I bought 3 pieces. I gave him a 20. I was like, I don't need the change, bro. Like, you deserve it. Like, keep it.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, cool. And I went home and I started looking at this piece of wood. I'm like, this is cool. Like, this is next level.
Yeah.
And from there, I started researching laser engraving. Come to find out, I was already following a page on TikTok that laser engraves the credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he does a new credit card and it's like out of metal, and he'll laser engrave whatever you want on the front, and they put all the important information on the back.
Okay.
I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then it started bugging me that nobody in Angelina County is doing this, from my knowledge.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, why is anybody laser engraving? Why are there no laser engraving shops around here? So I went on YouTube, went on TikTok, went on Google, went on every social media platform, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and started looking at lasers, looking at reviews of lasers. I'm like, you know what? I'll just bite the bullet. I'll just buy my first laser and see where it goes. And then it took about, I think, a total of like 50 tags, like 50 keychain tags to get it right. Oh, and wow. I was like, okay,
like
cool.
lining everything up.
Lining it up, make sure, like learning the settings, learning the software. So, all right, cool.
If you're watching the video version of this, we'll probably try to insert some video.
Some pictures, some videos.
Yeah, so y'all can see what it looks like.
And it bothered me. And I like to do things that people don't like doing.
Okay.
So some people don't like, for example, like clearing land. You know, not many people like doing it, and I'll do it. Whatever gets my hands dirty. You know, not many people like to make videos, and there I am making videos. Mm-hmm. So not many people are making custom key tags. So there I am making custom key tags. And that's the beauty of it, where people are like, I want this. Then they go on Instagram. No, they go on Amazon, and it's not there.
Right.
They want something personal, but it's not there.
Right. There's a lot of generic things.
Right. And so I'm like, yo, I can provide this for you, you know, and it'll cost this much, and it's custom to you. It's basically a one of one. Like, only you have this, and you only have this kind of piece.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay, cool. And then ever since then, building bridges, building good relationships, talking to people, being active in the community has helped this small business, because people are like, hey, you support me, I'll support you. Right. All right, cool. And I've also recently, at the time recording this yesterday, a friend of mine is like, I want to get into vinyl designing. Dude, go for it. He's like, would you be part of it? I was like, yes, I'll buy your first product if you want to.
Hey, I can help you out with that, because I used to work for a sign company back in the day.
Nice. But yeah, he's like, I want to do this. I'm like, dude, go for it. You know, I mean, just go for it. Don't be scared. No. If you're scared, good. If you're not scared, that's kind of bad, because you think you know it all.
I think sometimes, you know, people think you have to plan and do all this research, and they almost plan themselves out of actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
They think themselves
overthink
out of it.
Yeah.
And so I like that you just sort of jump in with both feet, and you're like, I'll figure it out as I go, you know, because I do feel like I tend to be one of those kind of people who I think about it too much sometimes.
Right.
If I just do it, just bite the bullet and do it ends up working out typically.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
So I like that. Well, the fact that you are juggling so many different things, what do you do? What kind of habits do you have that kind of set you in a good frame of mind every day, or set you up for, you know, success for that particular day? What's your daily routine like?
Normally the gym is the thing that like neutralizes everything out for me.
Yeah.
Whether it be gym in the morning, gym in the afternoon.
Well, you do it twice a day, don't you?
Yeah, twice a day.
You're very dedicated.
And just the gym in general. Sometimes it's weird. I don't have to work out, but just being in that environment like neutralizes everything. Like, this is your safe zone. Like, everything here is canceled out. Whatever problems are outside, take it out on here, and then you'll be good.
Yeah.
That's one thing. The other thing is just cruising, just going for a drive, windows down, whether with or without music. You know, you call me a psychopath without music, but just hearing the wind.
I sometimes like that. Yeah.
And just doing that kind of like calms me down. Okay. And then just and taking trips to the Sam Rayburn and just chilling out there.
Yep.
Just
we kind of live kind of out that way. So.
Yeah. So it's
not that far.
Yeah.
It's not that far. Who or what inspires you?
Definitely my mom and my dad. 'Cause they're always like, I'm gonna tell you this, but I don't want to tell you later on and say I told you so. So I like take their advice and like I take it in first. I'm like, because I don't want to hear I told you so, but they did tell me so.
Yeah.
So they're always like, do this and do that. Like they always tell me you have the opportunity to do things that we want to do, but we can't because we don't know English as well as you do. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay. They're like, do this, do that. Don't just see as far as your nose, see past it.
That's some good advice, actually.
And I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, you're in front of a tree, but you don't realize there's a forest or something like that. There's like a saying like that.
Yeah.
And so definitely they're always like, do this and do that. And I'm like, okay, so they're the reason why I'm doing this and doing that.
Yeah. We got to get invited to the family cookout one time.
Hey, this coming up, this upload in December. So yeah, we're gonna have
we're gonna have to come.
We're gonna have cookouts.
Get us an invite.
We have a nativity set you can check out too. The whole front porch is a nativity set.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. We'll have to film that as content for y'all's podcast. What hobbies? It seems kind of silly to ask you this with all the things you have going on, but do you have any hobbies outside of any of your hustles or your job or besides the car enthusiastic stuff?
Right.
Wait, that's not how you say that.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The car enthusiasm.
One of the hobbies I like is eating a hobby.
I mean,
it can be.
Some people are called foodies for a reason.
Right. I like to experiment with new foods.
Yeah.
Like, have you tried this? No, but let's go ahead and try it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're very open-minded. Megan's made you try a bunch of things that
you
had not tried before.
There's stuff that I've tried that's like fantastic.
Yeah.
And there's sometimes like some food that I've tried on my own. And I'm like, okay, I'm glad I tried it, but I'm not going to try it again because it wasn't that good. Mm-hmm. And so just trying new foods or new drinks. And then me being like the guinea pig for my friends, like, yo, try it. I like it. You may not like it, but I like it.
Right.
And they're like, okay, yeah, cool.
It's Roe approved.
Yeah, it's Roe approved.
Do you enjoy watching movies or do you read?
Every night, well, not every night now because I'm lasering, but me and my mom will go on a Netflix frenzy.
Yeah.
And just watch all the movies and then tell people about the movie and like whether it's worth watching or it's not worth watching.
Yeah.
So we kind of make our own like movie reviews.
We should make that into something. Roe and his mom do movie reviews.
I keep telling her like, yo, we should write down the movies we've watched to remember what we've watched.
Yes.
And
keep a journal.
We just lost count. Like honestly, we just lost count. Ever since my sister moved away to college, my mom's like, what do we do now? I'm like, oh, let's just watch a movie. So from that one movie, it turned into like, I think we watched over 50 movies now.
It's
on
like
Netflix.
that with my daughter Ava. She's very interested in like seeing about like older movies that I grew up on, and so we make these on Saturday nights. We have our movie night, and we make these lists. So like we just finished our Halloween list, and so we have a Christmas movie list.
Okay, and
a lot of them we've already seen, obviously, but there's on the Halloween movie list there were a whole bunch, and we picked mostly things that weren't super scary,
right? Yeah,
but like she, a lot of these like Beetlejuice and oh God, what was the other one? The Corpse Bride and some stuff like that. That's kind of Sleepy Hollow.
Right.
It's not terribly scary, but it's like gets you in the Halloween mood.
Yeah.
And she hadn't seen a lot of those, and she was like, "These are actually really good." And so, we work through series. We did the MCU back in the day. And went through all of those, and so I think it's fun. It's a great parent-child bonding experience that I sometimes get to experience in movies that I would not have actually chosen.
Right.
And she gets to see some old school stuff that I grew up on, and it's nice little cultural exchange between generations.
Yeah. Well, I'll put on a movie or she put on a movie at a random, and we're like, "What is this?" And we're like, "I don't know. We're gonna figure it out."
Yeah.
And those we figure it out kind of movies are always the best movies that we watch.
Yeah, it's always the ones that I don't anticipate that are gonna be good. Mm-hmm. And like didn't really want to watch, but I was like, I'll give it a try. Right, and then I'm like, oh, this is so good. Yeah. The Boondock Saints was one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. We
back in the day when that first came out, back in like 1999, I think we went back when Blockbuster was a thing.
Oh, I remember Blockbuster.
Ben I would pick out a movie, he'd pick out a movie, and that was his pick, and I was like, that looks dumb. We sat down and watched it, and it was like it's like my favorite movie now. But yeah, anyway, little tidbit about me. This isn't about me though. Okay, well, we've gotten to the point in our podcast where we do our rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
I always hear these and I always forget what my answer would be. So
okay, this is gonna be new for you.
Yes.
All right. What did you have for breakfast?
Blood, sweat, and tears. Just worked out this morning.
No breakfast.
No breakfast.
How do you take your coffee?
Okay. One spoon of coffee, 2 or 2.5 spoons of sugar, and about a guesstimate of milk.
So mostly like coffee flavored milk?
Yeah, pretty much. Sometimes.
Okay. I mean, hey, that's how my grandmother served it to me. What is your favorite song right now?
Favorite song. Ironically, is called "Lonely Day" by System of a Down.
Okay. Are you currently watching a TV show? And if so, which one? Not so much.
Just finished watching Midnight Mass on Netflix.
Is that good?
It's good.
Because I watched his other ones. And those were good.
That one's really good.
What's your favorite book?
Favorite book? It was Z for something. It was a like bio war like survival book. It was like Z for something. Can't remember the title. I'll put it up on the video version.
Okay.
But we read that in elementary school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Cookie dough.
Coke or Pepsi?
I'd say Pepsi, but I'm more of a Dr. Pepper fan.
Okay. Sweet or salty?
Sweet and salty.
Yeah. Beach or mountains?
Mountains for sure.
Okay. What's your zodiac sign?
I'm an Aquarius.
Ooh. Spring, summer, fall, or winter?
I'd go for fall.
Okay.
I like the joke. It's there was hot girl summer, and I say it's fat boy fall. Yeah, so
that's a good one.
Yeah,
you can make that a hashtag.
Mm-hmm.
What are you, an introvert or an extrovert?
Can people be both?
Yes.
Oh, then I am both.
An ambivert?
Okay, I didn't know that was a word.
Yep.
Cool. I'm an
ambivert.
Ambivert. Cool.
Ambivert. I don't know. Yeah. Favorite color?
Gray. No, metal gray, like a gunmetal gray.
Okay. Good answer. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
It's not. It's not a sandwich. It's just not.
You betrayed me. It's got two pieces of bread around a piece
a traditional sandwich has no connection of bread.
That's true. It's like a taco.
In a way, yes.
A bread taco.
A bread taco.
Well, I always get humored by the answers. What's your favorite social media platform?
I think everybody's just TikTok. So
right
TikTok,
now, yeah, TikTok. Okay, well that was fun. Alrighty, what was the first step in getting this business started? You've already kind of talked about how you went to the graffiti park and saw some people doing things, selling their wares, and then you started researching it.
Yeah.
But I mean, was it really just purchasing the machine?
No, it was more of like looking at various YouTube videos. And I think there was one YouTube channel called Make Something or Let's Make It, where he reviews like an extended amount of lasers.
Okay.
And ironic, like it.
So you educated yourself first.
I did.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, whether I buy this really huge laser and it's like a Chinese version and it only costs $500, or I buy something that's well built and it has had a lot of research on it. So I was watching more of his videos, and I tend to like watch the video, look at the brand. Okay, cool. Go to that brand's Instagram page and see what kind of support they have. And then I'll just do that. And the one that stuck to me the most was the Laser Picker Pro. And that one's like, it's dummy proof. Anybody can use it. You just connect your app and it has 4 simple buttons. And then like you just use the measurements, and then that's pretty much it. Like it's super friendly, super user friendly.
Good for beginners, you're saying?
Super good for beginners. And I like it a lot. I've made a whole bunch of tags. I've made a whole bunch of, small knick-knack stuff. The lasers that I have currently is the laser picker, and then the make block D1 model. And both of the lasers combined, it can either do wood, leather, cloth. And the new one I just bought, it does metal products. So coated metal or stainless steel.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'll
and I'm
good.
just like, wow, this is
going to open up a whole different
a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, I tend to do the research first. See the comments, see the brand, see if they're user friendly, how easy it is to use. Just because I like to. First, I take the easy way out, and then I make it complicated. I don't make it complicated first, and then take the easy way out.
Right. Well, I mean, that's a good way to do it.
And so, yeah, a whole bunch of research at first, and then having the finance to purchase the machine and the products at the same time.
Yeah.
Because there's no point in buying the machine with no products.
Right. When you're doing something like that, getting going, you've done the research, you've got the machine, you've got some stuff to test it out on. Then what was the next step? You were like, okay, I think I got this down.
Right.
I can start mass producing things.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do next?
I went to I made a whole bunch of examples, and I tell the people these are examples, but at the same time they're for sale. If you want any of these examples, they're like, okay, cool. But I would go to, like, for example, for Black Spot, I made without even telling them, I made a key tag of each person's logo with their name on the back, and I was like, hey, this is something I just made. This is cool. And like instantly, that, oh my goodness, like that is awesome.
Yeah.
Because if you see, like on my keys, I have a duck on my keys. I don't know for what reason, but I just got lazy.
Ducks are cute.
And I was like, I'll have a duck. And if I show you a duck, okay, cool. But if I show you a tag of your Instagram handle, you're like, oh wow, like I want one. I want like 10 of these.
Makes people more likely to buy it from you then.
Yeah. And so the first
Very
one,
smart marketing.
the first one, I always give them for free.
Yeah.
So like, for example, if I go to a boutique store, I'll get their logo off of Facebook or Google, whatever. I'll put it on the key tag. I'm like, hey, I have this to offer. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. How much is it? I'm like, this first one's free. This first one's for you. It's a 1-of-1. If you want more, we can fill out an order form, and then we'll go from there. And so every spot I've been to, I've always given them the first one for free. That way they can look at the product, feel it, analyze it, like, okay, this is something worth getting.
Can I use this as somehow of a marketing tool for my business somehow?
Right. And so there was one at Bessel's Boutique. She's like, I'm gonna have these on my keys when I go around town or do whatever. People ask, what do you do? Oh, and the cool part, it has a QR code feature. Scan the QR code, this shows up to their website. Like, wow, like technology on a piece of wood.
It's almost better than a business card.
It
because
is.
then people
Honestly,
can immediately kind of see what your website looks
Yeah,
like.
you always have your keys, but you never have a business card.
Well, let me ask you about this now that we're on that topic. You created an Instagram account.
Mm-hmm.
Did you create a Facebook page?
Not yet.
Do you have a website?
Not yet.
So see, we're very early on here, guys. We're very early on.
Yeah, just Instagram for now.
For now. And I've actually seen a lot of people, crafters like you, who just sell straight through Instagram or, face-to-face marketing with people, or they go to these festivals where you can set up a booth and sell things, you know, for a few bucks, at, whatever downtown, hoedown, marketplace, whatever is local to your area.
Right.
Those kinds of places. And so a lot of people are leaving like Etsy or any of those websites that charge you to sell. In fact, because they keep adding more fees and taking more money. And for a lot of people who sell small items like what you're going to be selling, it may cost the consumer, $5 to buy it, but then you're only getting maybe $3 or maybe $2.50 because of all the fees and the shipping and all the things like that. So people don't realize that you can sell through Instagram.
Yeah.
If you promote yourself the right way and you tell people, just DM me, we'll do whatever. Now, you said that you've created order forms. Do you have all that structured out real well already because of previous businesses, or did you have to kind of create an order form to kind of help you keep track of whose order is what and how many and what money?
At first, I never actually had like an official order form where I've given them a piece of paper and like, hey, fill this out.
Yeah.
It was mainly like out of trust and word of mouth. Which like the people that have known me, they're like, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to screw people over. Like, you order this, I keep it in my head. I keep it in my notes in my phone. I fill it out and I come back with a product within a reasonable time. Like, there was one shop in downtown. They wanted 20 tags and my machine can only do one at a time.
Right.
So I was working like 2 nights in a row. Just so I hate waiting and I hate for the people to wait too.
Right.
So I knock them out as fast as I can. And I'm like, hey, here's your product. I got it to you in a reasonable amount of time. And that they're more appreciative of the time than the product itself. Like, wow, like a 2-day turnover. Like that's crazy. And so I keep
that is pretty that's super fast.
And I keep everything in a journal. I'm like, this person bought this much for this price. And I just have it in my journal. That's like my order form. But I don't have like an official like, hey, fill this out. And then we'll have like an agreement. Yeah. Kind of stuff.
So as you get bigger and as you start doing more things,
yes,
and you start getting attaining clientele that's not just friends and family and businesses you've already associated with, you're going to find that you're going to have to find a more efficient way to keep track of all that. Because you can remember a couple orders in your head, or have them in a journal. The funny thing about when you start a business is that when you do something like this, most people do what you did, kind of just jump in. They do their research, they jump in, they get going, and then later on they're like, oh, taxes and sales tax and all those things. So I'm sure because you've been involved in other businesses before, those are all things you already know. It's a matter of time of getting all those ducks in a row.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, like every tag that I sell, I've already like calculated like the sales tax. So I like whatever I receive, the tax are like put separately. I'm like, okay, this is the tax part of it. Whenever it comes time to like actually pay on it, when it's documented, I already have the money.
Right.
And I don't have to like pull it out of my bank account.
Right.
Like it's already there waiting.
And there's the Texas sales tax website. If you live in Texas, you can go there and there's information on how you apply for a tax ID number and all that stuff. It's free, I think. If your business is under a certain amount, if you're just getting started,
right.
You get a tax ID number. But then once you register, they're going to be knocking on your door wanting their money. Now, depending on how big your business is, you may have to pay monthly or you may pay quarterly. I know there for a while with my photography business, I was paying monthly because of how much business I was doing. And then as I started to kind of take less and less clientele, I could switch to quarterly.
Okay.
But I had a spreadsheet that I kept all my information in of, income and taxes and all the things like that. And so if you keep those kinds of things, that's the biggest business tip I can give somebody. Keep your financial stuff squared away.
Yeah.
So you don't get, Uncle Sam knocking on your door going, hey, I want my money.
Right.
Because I feel like a lot of small businesses do make that mistake in the beginning and end up going, oh, I didn't realize I was going to have to pay all that.
I didn't know how to pay taxes.
And then they're like, oh, and then their first year they have to go take out a loan to pay taxes or something because of that. So always work out the tax situation as early as possible so you don't have that problem. Now, some people want to go, I want to see how this business does. I don't want to invest all this time filling out all this paperwork and getting in the system if it doesn't take off.
Right.
And I totally understand that. But if you blow up real quick, you're going to...
I'm about to fill out all that paperwork
You're going to have to do it soon.
But yeah, I've already planned. Like at first I was like, let's just a little side hustle, a little... like get some like spare
something
change.
To do.
Yeah. Like this one tag can fill up like a couple of tags and it'll be like
I could
a
see
full
you having
tank
a bunch
tank.
of machines going all at one time though.
Oh,
eventually.
I would love that.
You and your vinyl friend could start a
little shop.
Laser engraving and vinyl signing.
Yeah. And I was like, man, this stuff is pretty cool. Like I honestly did for like the spare change. I was like, if I want to go out, I'll just use the laser money. I won't use my money.
Yeah.
And then now it's just like, hey, I want this, I want that. And I'm like, oh, okay, like this is bigger than I thought. People actually like the customization and that it's local, and then I have to like wait for like for
weeks
example,
weeks,
wait so many weeks and like we'll ship it out to you compared to like, hey, you're local, you come to my business often, so I don't have to like pay for shipping, even though it's it's kind of like already included in it. But yeah, people are just appreciative like the customization that it can do. Yeah, like, can you do this? I'm like, dude, I'm good at Photoshop. Photoshop is my best friend now. I do all of my customization in Photoshop. Yep. And that's what makes that's the money maker right there, Photoshop itself.
Yeah, and customization is a big deal. Being able to put these businesses' logos on the tag, plus a QR code that goes to their Facebook page or their Instagram or their website. Yeah. That is, or a link tree, whatever they have. That's invaluable. I like that. People give me their business cards and it gets stuck in the bottom of my purse or in a wallet. You never look at it again. If I had a thing like that and I'm just like, here, you can see my website right now if you scan this code, I think that's the way to go when it comes to approaching these businesses. So that way they have, especially the ones that send out orders. They can send it with an order and people can just have that and QR code it whenever they want to make an order next time. What do you see as the long-term goal? Do you want to have multiple lasers doing different things?
Honestly, just from purchasing my second laser that can do a bigger
like
pieces.
Literally over the weekend.
Yeah, like bought it on a Friday, it showed up on a Sunday, and then I started messing with it for about 3 hours last night. Yeah. And just from that machine itself, I quickly saw the difference between the first machine and the second machine. And both machines are great. They're fantastic brands. But one can do better than the other, and then vice versa.
On certain things.
But yes, I would love to have like a small shop or a small space somewhere where it's just like, hey, I want a small sign, or I want my last name on a piece of wood. Can you do it? Like, yeah, sure. because we're in Texas, many people have firearms, and not many people that I know have their firearms customized. And so they're like, okay, having your firearm customized to your liking, having it engraved in a certain way, or at least having your name on it, that'd be kind of cool too. But yeah, I would love to have multiple lasers, a variation of different products that I can laser on, and then like have the ability of people to like have something personal to them, at a really good, reasonable price.
Yeah.
They're not paying, high dollar pricing. It's just like, I'm reasonable. Like the products I get is good quality. I'll sell it to you at a reasonable price. If you buy bulk, the price is cheaper, just like everywhere else.
Yeah.
And so I'm not like, cheating people out of their money, because I sell it as if I want to buy it.
Yeah.
And I turn it in as if I want to wear it, every day on my keys.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to give somebody a false or like bad looking product or design.
Yeah. If you're not going to use it yourself, why would anybody else?
That's why they're like, what is yours? Like, I have a duck, like it's something that you wouldn't expect of me, but I have a duck on my keychain.
Yeah.
Just because I think
it's
it
a
looks
great
cool.
conversation starter for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gets people like, oh, well, how much? Can I get one? I'm like, dude, yeah, you just.
And this business could make you tons of money in the future, or it could be, like you said, just a little extra pocket change. But the thing is, I feel like today, our parents and grandparents grew up in an era where you worked the same job for 40 years and you retired. And I don't really think that's the thing anymore.
No.
And if you have, our economy and just our society in general is fluctuating so rapidly that having your hands in a bunch of pies, if you will,
right,
and in different industries, is really smarter long term. Everybody always makes fun of us with all of our different businesses. You guys always have all these businesses. Yeah, they're all in different industries.
Yep.
And if one industry fails, you have a few others to kind of lean on. So and people talk about passive income. Somebody could label this, well, once you get it off the ground, it could be passive income for you. It's not really passive income if you had to work pretty hard for several months or years to get it going. Most businesses, it takes a couple of years for them to start seeing a profit, to really get some traction. And, you see a lot of businesses fail before the third year mark because of that. If you can make it, and it's not one of those things where it has to be your entire livelihood.
Right.
And it can be, excuse me, I'm getting over some sinus stuff. It can be a nice addition to your income.
Right.
And I think it's really smart, especially young people today, if you can, or anybody of any age. Yeah. Get as many different diversity type, investments. If you have rental property, then start a craft business, like something that's completely opposite. If you're one of those entrepreneurial types, I feel like that's a really good way to kind of keep yourself busy and diversified. Yeah. I don't know what other word to use.
And I also do these kind of stuff. I'm only 23. I'll be 24 in January 28th. And I want, like, for example, my sister's friend, she is like 19 or 20 years old. But at 17 or 18, she started making her own custom rings.
Ooh.
Yeah. Nice. And like with people's like initials or whatever, or like cute little sayings, like a one word type of ring. And she was telling me about it. And I was like, you're like 17, 18 years old and you've already made this much money. It's not like thousands, but she makes hundreds of dollars, off of just the little rings. And I'm like,
stuff that she likes doing that she didn't have to punch a time card somewhere else.
Right. And then her mom is like, she said this, I loaned her this X amount. She paid me back, and now the money she's made off of this ring, she's buying more products and more stuff. I don't know if she does it now because she's in college, but like while in high school, she was making some extra money, and I'm like, that's
a nice side business, even if you're in college. I mean, I know college tends to be all consuming, but just in case.
And I want to like I have 2 nephews and a niece, and so like if they see their dad, as a business owner, okay, cool, that's one thing. But if they see their uncle as another business owner making more money on the side, and having fun, that's the thing, like having fun at the same time. Right. Like I'm not.
Yeah, you don't ever seem burdened when you come in. Right. It's Ro's not complaining about, I have all these things to do. He's like, I've got all these things to do. Like it's so enthusiastic.
Like look at this product. Like look how this laser like works on this piece of wood. Like look at this picture.
Yeah,
like,
he comes in every day like, did you see this? Yeah. Look what I did. Look what I did. And it's really cute to see. I say cute. It's kind of derogatory. But I don't mean it that way. It's really awesome to see somebody so happy. Like, I don't know that I've ever seen you have a bad day. No. Or you didn't show it if you did.
Right. But now that I'm lasering away, Like this laser is giving me another purpose
sorry.
to do something with my time. And I don't like to like not do anything or have time wasted. You know, watching movies is fun and it's relaxing, but I'm like, after watching 50 movies, I need to do something with my time.
It took me 40 years to kind of enjoy downtime. So I get it.
Yeah.
Because I always felt like if I had downtime, then I was not doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So it takes a while to get to that place in your head. It took me a while.
Yeah.
I'm just now at the place where I can take a day and just do something for myself and not feel all this tremendous guilt for doing that. Maybe you'll get there one day, or maybe not. Maybe that's the kind of drive you need. That's the kind of, you know, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates kind of hustle all the time. And one day I'll be able to say, I knew him when.
So I always say, like, why do you work so much? I'm like, man, I hustle now and I relax later.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like that's
you got the energy now. You're young.
Yeah. That's
this
what
is
I'm
the
gonna
time
take
to do
advantage.
it.
I'm gonna take advantage now. So when it comes to that time where like have no energy, I want to be able to say, yeah, I did that in my 20s, you know, like, and I want to tell the younger people, like, you can do it, man.
Yeah.
You say you have no money, that's false. You have money to buy this product.
Yeah. You
And
could,
so
yeah.
just pull the
There's
trigger.
sacrifices you can make to make it happen if you really want to do
I mean,
that.
you can't get back time, but you can always get back money. Money will flow, but time doesn't.
That is good advice. You know, with all these businesses that you have and all these things that you do, what would you say it's taught you the most about yourself running a business or being an entrepreneur or
communication?
Like being a good communicator,
like having good communication skills and like being like clear and upfront with people. You know, this is at first I was like very shy and like I guess timid. Where like I don't want to charge this much because I feel like you're gonna say no. But after doing so many side hustles, I'm like, okay, this is my set price. Whether you like it, that's cool. Awesome. I appreciate you. Whether you don't like it, that's cool. I appreciate you. I like appreciate you talking to me. If you can find somebody else, hey, like, let me know. Cause I want to see if I can learn something off of the other person that may have gotten a cheaper or better product than me. You know, like I don't really look for competition. I look to learn off of somebody else.
Yeah.
So like when the photography game, because everybody's a photographer now.
Yeah.
I go to my photographer friends. I'm like, hey, you know, how do you do this? How do you do that? You know, some people are like, I'm not going to show you my secrets. Or they're like, okay, you're just trying to learn. I'll teach you.
I think showing the secrets, or at least, you know, helping those who ask you questions only elevates the entire industry.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
100%.
It makes everybody better. And there's such a really big, like, competitive spirit about that particular industry, especially around here because it is so saturated.
Yeah.
You know, and I've talked about this multiple times. But yeah, that I think you're right. Communication is a big deal, and learning those things about yourself.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm worth this much, or my service, or my product, or whatever. And if you don't want to pay, that's cool. I'll find somebody else. That's fine. Learning that early on is really important for the longevity, because it took me a while to be confident in the things I said about my prices for different things when I was a photographer or when I was doing craft things or whatever it was. Not being super confident in your price,
right?
Knowing you're worth that much, you know, because of the experience or because of the know-how or all the things that, you know, go into pricing the way that you price. I think that's a big hurdle for a lot of people. So learning that early on, that's a good thing to know.
And I always like to, there's that saying like under promise, over deliver. And so a really good example is like, let's say somebody wants a tag. They say keychains, but the keychain is a chain part, and I call them tags. So people want a tag. Let's say an example of, I don't know, a star on one side. They just like, I just want a star tag. I'm like, okay, cool. So I do one-sided of their liking, and then the other side, I customize it to relate to the other side. So if they want a sun, I'll put like an engraving of Saturn, for example, or I'll put like, it'll say Galaxy or something like that. One very good example is a friend of mine that I've met in the car community. He wanted 4 tags of the brand of his like side-by-sides or his motorcycles or 4-wheelers or whatever.
Sure.
And he thought it was going to say like Honda or Polaris. I was like, no, I'm going to go further than that. I'm going to make it to where it's unique, similar to the actual logo, because I can't copy the logo.
Right.
Just like up to parts of the logo or something relating to the logo itself. And on the backside, the model of your vehicle, whether it be like the side-by-side or whatever, like customize it to its model, like customizing to its like vehicle per se.
Right. Giving him a little extra.
Yeah. And then I gave it to him, and then he's like, yo, like I didn't expect this. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I thought you were just gonna write Honda on one side and like 400 on the other side. I'm like, no, I'm gonna give you something that I want.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give you something that's basic, because basic is boring.
Yes, it can be. What advice do you have to impart to others if they want to, get the side hustle game going or start a small business? What advice was given to you that was invaluable, or what do you have over the course of the years that you've done it that you would impart to others?
The things that I've heard is nothing that I would say to others. So they're like, work hard, chase for the dreams, and the sky's the limit.
So cliche.
No. I like to say, just don't think, just do it.
Yeah.
Don't even think about it. You're like, oh, I want to be a photographer. Cool. Go out and take pictures.
Yeah.
I want to be a barista. Cool. Go make coffee in your kitchen.
Don't talk about it. Go do it.
Yeah. There was a friend of mine did a brand in high school. She's like, don't talk about it, be about it. And she put it on a shirt. And I remember that since high school. And so, yeah, I'm just like, just don't think, just do.
Yeah.
Don't think. The more you think, the less you'll do.
Guys, that is some amazing advice. I concur.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
The more you think, the less you do. So don't think about it, just do it.
Get done.
And like, if you're like, I'm broke. Well, you won't be broke next week, so you'll be fine. I mean, if you have
money
a job,
will always come.
Yeah, money will come. You may be broke this month, but 10 years from now, you won't be broke.
Yeah.
And so money flows, but time doesn't.
That needs to be on a tag.
Yeah, money flows.
Well, tell everybody where they can find you currently on the interwebs.
First, I'm gonna give credit to where credit is due. So my friend Abby, she helped me with my name for the Instagram handle.
Okay.
So the Instagram is Angel Engrave on Instagram, and the logo is Angel Engrave and laser technology in the middle. So yeah, big shout outs to her. She helped me out with that name. You can find me on personal at _Rogelio_O on Instagram, Twitter, and then you can find
if you're watching us on YouTube, he'll put all that on.
Yeah, and then you can find me and Megan at Megan Run the Morning on all social media platforms except for Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, because they were being dumb.
Yeah, they're being dumb. They're being a little slow. But yeah, you can find me on everywhere, anywhere. If I'm on TikTok, I don't really post as much, but I think I will now because of the lasers.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll make you go viral right there. Doing 100%. The laser engraving. Yeah, so you guys should check him out. He's got some really great stuff. Christmas is coming up, so get your orders in if you want something.
Get your orders in quick, because I go to New York on the 18th from the 26th.
Yeah.
So I'll be gone. So you want them now or Valentine's?
Yeah. Or if you're a business owner and you want to promote your business in this new and cool way, you should do it. Yeah. Ro, thanks for coming on and talking about starting a new business.
This is awesome.
We have not done that, and this was a good idea, and I'm glad we did. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Hope everybody enjoyed listening to this one, and we'll catch you next time.
All right.
Do you have a story to tell? We want to hear it. If you'd like to be a guest on our podcast and share your story, contact us on our website at PaynePoints.com or any of the social media linked on our website. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. We'd appreciate a review, a like, or a comment to let us know what you think. You can find all of our podcasts linked on our website under the podcast tab. Once again, thanks for joining us, and we want to wish everybody a wonderful day.